At the esteemed corporate law company where I work in downtown Chicago, there is a high level of desire and secrets are even more profound. The only way to survive at a company like this, my boss, is to keep your head down, perform your work properly, and avoid office politics. My name is Jessica Palmer, and I have been employed at Grant & Associates for the past 2 years. Richard Grant is a name that reverberates in the legal community. He has a reputation as sharp as his tailored suits, and one Thursday afternoon, while I was knee-deep in a merger contract, I received a brief direct email from Jessica reporting to my office at 4:00 p.m. sharp rant. I stared at it for a moment, feeling my pulse quicken. I quickly reviewed the files I had worked on that week, and everything seemed to be in order, but the message carried a weight I couldn't ignore. At precisely 4:00 p.m., I approached Richard Grant's office, my heels resonating softly against the marble floor, and knocked once, expecting his customary curt reply, but instead a woman's voice called out, "Come in." I was perplexed when I slowly opened the door and saw that the woman behind Richard's enormous mahogany desk was not Richard but rather a woman I had never met before. She had dark hair in her early 40s, pulled back in a crisp white blazer that gave her a commanding presence, and her eyes met mine with a mixture of calculation and curiosity. "You must be Jessica Palmer." "I'm Claire Grant," she said, getting up to shake my hand. Richard's wife made me feel as though I had entered the wrong room. My mouth opened slightly, but nothing came out. She motioned for me to sit, and I obeyed, still in disbelief. "I realize this was unexpected, but I needed to speak with you alone," Claire continued. "This wasn't just odd, it was unprecedented. I've seen your name a lot lately," and she continued, "your work, which has often crossed my desk. My husband is out with a client, and he is unaware that I'm here." I stiffened in my seat, every nerve on alert. "You're good. Jessica is intelligent and efficient, and I've noticed that you frequently arrive late. Your car is always among the last in the parking garage." I swallowed, not sure where this was going. "Yes, ma'am, I've been working on the Patterson acquisition. There has been a lot to deal with." She smiled, but it obviously didn't reach her eyes. "But tell me, has Richard ever asked you to stay late for one-on-one meetings, invited you to off-site events, or made remarks that seemed a little too personal?" I hesitated because he didn't say anything overt, but the underlying message was always there. A glance had overly lengthy remarks that, although initially sounding encouraging, alluded to anything more. "I'm not accusing you of anything." Claire leaned back and said, "I'm not here to ruin your career, I'm here to warn you don't make the same mistake." She stated bluntly, "I was once in your shoes, working at this firm before I married Richard. I was the new talent eager to climb the ladder and he noticed just like he's noticed you and my breath caught I fell for it," she said. "He was charming when he wanted to be, and eventually I believed him. But once I was no longer a challenge I became part of the furniture, convenient, familiar, easy to ignore. I didn't want to admit that Richard had been subtly grooming me strategically and that you're talented." She went on, "Don't waste that trying to navigate the personal games of powerful men. Make your own path. You don't need him for that." She picked up her purse and walked to the door before leaving, turning to face me and saying, "Think carefully about what kind of story you want your career to tell. Don't confuse attention for opportunity." After she went, I stayed there for a long time, staring at the desk where Richard Grant would shortly return. When he did, he gave me his typical aloof smile. I smiled calmly and collectedly in response to his question, "Everything all right, Jessica?" "Yes, just thinking about my future." I didn't need to be a cautionary tale when I wrote a formal request to transfer to another department that evening. I had received a warning from someone who had experienced the consequences and a rare gift. I was called into my boss's office, but his wife gave me the most important lesson of my career, and I will never forget it.